me! Help me, Rod. Help me! Help you. Help
me.
Listen,
Help you.
Have y'all ever had one of those days where you woke up, everything was going well, and then all of a sudden something jumped in on you and you said, you know what? This is a test and I intend to pass it. Well, that happened to us as I was working on today's episode. You will notice I don't have on the same shirt that Cherie has on. She actually changed shirts, but she had another white shirt to make y'all think that she had on the same thing, and it's not true because we couldn't use our original footage, y'all. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. It was terrible, Cherie.
It's okay. It actually lines up with what we're going to be talking about today. When things cut in on you. What cut in on me was I actually broke my ankle here in Panama.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Stay tuned. We're going to tell y'all all about it and how she made a comeback. Her setback was a setup for a comeback. Stay tuned for another episode of Behind Closed Doors with the Brookses. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another edition of Behind Closed Doors with the Brookses. I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, a very tired speaker, and relationship coach. And sitting next to me is the lovely light skin
Cherie A. Brooks Jr., author, speaker, and relationship coach. And it's great to be back with you guys again this week.
Well, we are here to talk about an anniversary, believe it or not. And yes, a lot of times people forget some milestones, if you will. And I think that unfortunately, it does not allow you to reflect on what's possible and how far God has brought you. But babe, 1 year ago today, talk about it.
So 1 year ago here in Panama, I actually broke my ankle. I went for a walk, going to the grocery store, tripped and fell and broke my ankle. And so it has been a year of recovery, a year of reflection, a year of what could have been a setback, but it did not turn out to be.
Well, actually, I think it was a setback in a lot of ways, and I want to talk about it, babe, because sometimes I think that we view setbacks as a bad thing. And I honestly believe that my friend Willie Jolly wrote a book years ago that a setback is really a setup for a comeback, and you have come back better, stronger, faster. The $6 million lady over here. And I want you to tell people about your journey.
So when I said, like Glenn said, a lot of times when we think about setbacks, we think about the negative aspects of it. But it was definitely a setback, and not from a negative perspective. It could have been negative. And what I mean by that is that when I fractured my ankle, the initial the thoughts that I got from other people is that they thought we were going to leave and weren't coming back. They thought we were going to leave Panama. We were done. We were going to give up on it. It was Panama's fault that I tripped and fell and fractured my ankle. And it was going to end this new chapter that we had started in our life with moving to Panama. But for me, it actually helped to highlight my resilience. It helped to highlight my perseverance. It actually helped me to lean into some of my strengths, and helped me to realize that most of my life, when I've been faced with challenges, I have had the ability to be able to overcome and adapt, which speaks to my temperament, which is characterized as a chameleon. I am able to adapt to different situations. I'm able to turn what was meant to be negative into something positive. I have adopted that mindset that... and you'll show I'll get into that in a minute. I've adopted the attitude that when things happen in life, and things are going to happen in life, there's going to be things that happen. I always look at them, what am I supposed to learn from that? What am I supposed to get from this situation? And so even in me tripping and falling and fracturing my ankle, there was lessons that I learned going through that have helped me to become better today. Like Glenn said, I'm physically stronger, faster, quicker, all that, the bionic woman, all that stuff. Not so much faster. I ain't running real fast, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I'm definitely stronger.
When I think about you, you and I have been married for 25 years in a row. And I know this person to be true, and that is from the day I met you, babe, and as a single mother, doing all the things, having been married twice before me, now having to forge through life in a way that you did not plan. Went into the Marine Corps. Obviously, this is all prior to me, but all of that was a reflection of your ability to lean in, not make excuses, but be able to say, you know what, this isn't what I planned. This is not what I planned for, but we here now. And so the question becomes, what we gonna do about it?
Right. So as the healing process goes, for me, the physical part of it wasn't the hard part. One thing that I've learned about myself is that I have a high tolerance for pain, which was evident actually when I fractured my ankle, because when I fell and fractured it, I didn't realize it was fractured. I actually got up and finished walking to the store, grocery shopped, and then came home. And
I need to stop you for 1 second, and I know y'all don't like it when I cut Cherie off, but I gotta jump in and say that this, for me, lends to what I would call the Marine Corps crazy. Because Cherie was doing something different. I know that they say that when you break a bone and things like this happen, you know, that there's this initial shock and you can do some superhuman things. But to get up, walk to the grocery store, shop for groceries, get in the car, the Uber to take her home, and then put the groceries away, and then take a shower, and then wrap her leg and call me talking about, I think I did something really bad here. I'm like, what in the world?
I had prolonged shock. Yeah, I think I felt a twinge. I felt like something was wrong, but I did not feel it to the magnitude of what it was. And actually, I didn't really start feeling the pain until after we went to the doctor the next day, when I went to go see the orthopedic surgeon, and he told me it was broke. And I think that's when I really was like, oh, this really hurts. Now, I was feeling pain when I tried to stand on it. I couldn't stand on it. It was a sharp pain, but it wasn't like this, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Like I broke my ankle. But that speaks to, I mean, for me, if I look back over my life, I've always had a high tolerance for pain. I mean, I had my daughter, natural childbirth. I was in labor for 23 hours, no medication, no nothing. I've had other injuries, things that have gone on, and I just have a very high tolerance for pain. So for me, the physical pain wasn't the challenge. The challenge for me physically was the inability to be able to get around. The inability, because I fractured my right ankle, but my left ankle, I had a severe high sprain, and so I couldn't put weight on either one of my feet for almost 6 weeks. No weight on your feet. I had the boots on, but I couldn't put any weight for 6 weeks. So I had to shuffle off the bed into the wheelchair, shuffle out the wheelchair. I'm gonna be a little graphic, onto the toilet, because I couldn't stand up to do anything. And so that was more painful for me, I guess, than the actual physical pain. But the blessing was, by coming back, so I went to the States, had surgery. And I've told all of the details, so I'm not going to get into all of that here per se, but went to the States, had surgery, came back here to Panama to do physical therapy, because physical therapy here, I was able to have a therapist come to the house 3 days a week. That, I think, along with actually being here, because of the time of the year that it was, this happened in October, so it was going into winter. Had I stayed in the States for recovery, because of the weather there, I would not have gotten out and gone to physical therapy every week. The weather in of itself would not have lent to a broken bone. It would have made it much more, it would have aggravated it because of the cold. My mood would have definitely not been as cheery as it was here, in 80 degree, 80, 90 degree weather. And so there were a lot of factors that played into it. And so physically, having the in-home therapist helped to speed up my physical recovery. But I think also being here in this environment helped me with my emotional recovery, because it would have been very easy for me to just be like, I quit. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be here. You know, like I said, that whole blaming Panama because it was Panama's fault that I tripped and fell. But at that point, we had only been here not even 6 months, and we were just starting to build relationships. But that was something that actually proved to be beneficial because the relationships we had built, I had to learn to be vulnerable and actually ask for help with these people that I had not known that long.
You know, I want to jump in right there, babe, because I think a lot of times when I was just having a conversation with someone earlier today, and one of the things that they expressed to me was they were in a particular situation and they needed to talk, but their own habit of not talking was getting in the way of asking for help. Because a lot of times we know we need help, but we don't know how to articulate the words, help me. You know what I mean? Actually say,
Help me!
like, that's a thing. And after talking to this person, I realized that this is a construct that many of us, because of how we were raised, we grew up thinking that there was something wrong with asking for help. And had it not been for the new community that we had started building, and shout out to everybody who had something to do with Cherie's recovery, both here in Panama and in the States. If I start naming names, I'll get in trouble because I'm sure I'll forget somebody. But you guys came through, I mean, so amazingly so, in such a way that it relieved the pressure of me stressing that my wife was in a situation that, quite frankly, there was nothing physically that I could do about it. And I just think that if there's anything that your situation sort of reminded me, and that was, it's important to be able to ask for help, not let alone do it, but have the ability to do it, if that makes any sense.
Right. And one of the big things for me with being able to be vulnerable and asking for help was I had to be patient with myself. I had to embrace the fact that I needed help. I had to give myself permission to rest and to heal because I am the person that will do all the things. I'm the quintessential, superwoman. I'm going to have the flu and I'm going to be up cooking dinner and doing all the things. But I had to allow myself, and I always have had the belief that sometimes God doesn't necessarily allow things to happen, but he kind of just steps back because he needs us to be still. And I believe that my fracture in my ankle was a season for me to be still, where I had to depend on other people, which was probably really the first time in my life I think I had to be that dependent on other people ever. And that was humbling to have to be dependent on other people, have to be patient and wait on other people to come through and do things for me and help me with things. And I learned that I'm extremely impatient. I learned that I still have some control issues, but I've learned to release that, and my ability to be able to be humble and ask for help to chip away at that.
Let me jump in real quick, and I flew in your turtle, and I just want to talk about this for a very, very brief second. As relationship coaches and a certified DISC trainer, one of the things that I do for a living is I help people understand how their temperament plays into how they act, why they do some of the things they do, and quite frankly, how to navigate that. Cherie is a chameleon, turtle chameleon, depending on the day. D is a lion, I is a flamingo, the S is a chameleon, and the C is the turtle. So she's a high S and a high C. When you think about a chameleon, one of the things that you know to be true about the actual animal, a chameleon, and that is that they are dependable, they are steady, they are the kind of, you can count on them to make the adjustment, right? They don't generally do that because they like to. In most cases, it's because, quite frankly, they're hiding and or they're protecting themselves, right? So when it comes to being able to ask for help, chameleons find that hard to do. Although they're people, they're very introverted people. And so a lot of times they're used to being buttoned up, being able to take care of things. When you switch over to the turtle, again, an introvert, the turtle is the cautious one. That's the one that's going to take its time. It's highly analytical. And so it's going to think through things on a regular basis, even to its detriment. For those of you guys who struggle with analysis paralysis, that's the turtle in you. Now, here's the crazy thing. All of us have all four temperaments. And just really quickly, by the way, the other two, and these are the ones that I traffic in, are the lion and the flamingo. So you have your D, your I, your S, and your C, right? So the lion in me is very direct. Bottom line, don't have a whole lot of empathy, don't have a lot of patience for fluff in one sense, because when it comes to making decisions and leading, I generally lead from my lion. My flamingo is the happy-go-lucky, can't we all get along? It's the salesman in me. It's the you're going to be okay. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, why are we tripping? So when she's going through, quite naturally, I want her to hurry up and get through. And there's nothing in me that's wanting to wait that out with her. And for Cherie, I'll be honest with you, babe, this for me posed a growth opportunity for both of us that, quite frankly, I didn't expect.
Right. And it's funny that you say that, because of our different temperaments, where I had to learn how to allow you to help me. It was frustrating for you, in some sense, to have to help me. Because you're used to me being the turtle and the chameleon and doing everything. I'd manage everything. I am the strategic one. I plan everything. And so I think it was a great growth opportunity for both of us. I think we went through it pretty good. I think we survived. We more than survived. We thrived through it. We definitely grew through it. And I think that it helped to, I think it strengthened our bond together, especially being here, being abroad now. Our relationship has been growing in different ways. And I think that was something that needed to happen when it happened in order to strengthen our relationship. But the other part of it was, even during that time, because I was being still, I couldn't get up and do all the things. It gave me time to really reflect spiritually and reflect where I was, and just really be able to get in God's presence more and be able to do what I do, which is plan and strategize and do all those things. So, I mean, on the outside, it may have looked like a bad thing. It may have looked like, oh my gosh, she broke her ankle, how's she's going to do? It had much more positives to it than negatives. Today I can say there are no scars, and there are no scars you guys will see. There are no scars because my chameleon now covers it up. But I'm grateful for that, because it also allowed me to build relationships here. It allowed me to depend on my husband in ways that I had never depended on him before, to help to strengthen our relationship. But yeah, I think it was a good thing. It didn't feel good when it happened, but it was a good thing that it happened. And so today, now, like Glenn said, it's been a year. Over the course of this year, if I had to rebuild my strength physically, there was one thing when we first moved here to Panama. One of our dreams and our desires for moving here was to be able to get out in nature, to be able to go out on hikes, to go see the waterfalls, to go see all that Panama has to offer. And that definitely set us back on those goals, because I was not physically able to do those things. And I remember a couple months after I had fractured my ankle, we went out riding out to the interior to a place where you could go see the views, and I had to sit in the car because I couldn't go. I couldn't walk up the steps. And but today.
Yeah, today. She's doing more than walking up the steps. By the way, I want y'all to hang tight, because at the end of today's episode, we're going to do a 3-minute sort of retrospect, or just a review of where she is now. So we're talking about where she was. This video is going to help to inspire some of you guys. I would hope to, get off the couch, execute, slow down in your season of slow down. And you know when that is, because nothing that you want to work right is working right. I'm going to say that again. I need y'all to let that breathe. When you are in a season where it seems like that things are not going according to plan, or things are not going the way you want them to go, I believe with all of my heart, God himself is to some degree trying to say something to you that you've been moving way too fast to get. And so in this particular season of your life, you're in a place where, quite frankly, you have nothing else to do but listen. But Cherie, you said something that I think it's important. It's when you're in those seasons and he's speaking, the question is, what is it that he's telling you to do, and what are you gonna do?
And it doesn't have to be a fractured ankle. We all go through trials. We all go through things, and particularly in marriage, you're going to go through situations, but it's how you respond to those situations. And I think this was a prime example of how, something that could have turned out to be very negative, that could have, even set aside, I fractured my ankle, but even the testing between us with him having to care for me in ways that he had never cared for me, that could have gone really bad. That could have been, I could have been impatient. I could have gotten an attitude, and full transparency, we had our moments, but it could have been really, really ugly. It could have turned to, into this really big thing that could have separated us. But we chose to put our feet, press in and press into each other. And we grew closer through that. But I think oftentimes when couples go through things, when things happen, when your plans change, you were planning on doing this and something cuts in, your plan is that, y'all going to buy a house in 5 years and then you lose your job, or the market changes, whatever, or you weren't planning on having kids and you're having a child now, and that kind of cuts in on your plans. Or, things happen in life that are not a part of our plans. We all have in our idea what this vision is that we have, but when something cuts in, how do you handle that? How do you and your partner handle that? How are you able to rely on this person that's supposed to be your partner? That's when your partnership is truly tested.
Yeah, and the last thing before we get out of here, guys, Cherie and I have built, for the last 25 years, we've built our life around the idea of, what does it look like to help people who are growing in their relationships and they want to do work. What does that work look like? That's why we created the MAPS Relationship Academy. Quite frankly, that's why we recently launched what we're calling Breakfast and the Word. It is designed to either personally, spiritually, physically, in terms of fellowship, put things in place so that we can teach and train other people how to take these tools and use them when they count the most. It doesn't matter that you know something. What matters is that you're able, listen to me carefully, to use it when you need it most. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when it comes to tools, you know how to use a hammer, but when's the last time you actually used one? You know how to use a screwdriver, but when was the actual last time you used? Have you been honing your skills and things like that? So these kind of circumstances causes you to do work. And I'm just so grateful that we did it. I'm grateful for your comeback, and I'm grateful for the opportunity for us to show you, hang tight, a video of what comeback looks like.
And real quick, before we go to this video, I want to encourage you guys, when you go through these seasons in life, practice having an attitude of gratitude. Look for the good things that came out of whatever that situation are. Highlight those things. Also, be sure to show your appreciation to those around you, those that have helped you. Let them know that you appreciate them. Not taking people for granted in those seasons. But I think that if you can have an attitude of gratitude, even in what may seem to be the worst of situations, it's going to change your perspective. It's going to change how you look at it. And it's going to change ultimately how you do come through it, because your healing is attached to your attitude. And if you can have a positive attitude when you're healing through whatever it is, it's going to help you to be able to reach triumph. And also celebrate the small wins. Along this year-long journey, I have celebrated each step, literally, that I've taken along this journey. And so today we culminate. It's been a year, and I was able to take some major steps today, and that's why we are celebrating, because I am triumphant. I am victorious. I have won the race today.
I love it. I love it. Guys, listen, stay tuned for this video, but we want to let y'all know, at the end of the day, you cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. Because we all
need
some
help.
Help me! Help me.
Y'all be good, and we'll see you back on the next edition of Behind Closed Doors with the Brooks Sisters. Stay tuned.
Oh, victory belongs to Jesus. Victory belongs to Him. Oh, instead.